Okay, so I want to do two videos. The first one is just covering the dollar yields, gold, silver, and the miners. And the second one's going to be just on the portfolio update, just the specific miners. I think it's better to chop it up in those two videos. The second one is always very, very long, and I just got up. So for this video, very quickly, the dollar yields. Remember, I said I thought it would bounce from here and then stall out and go back down. I thought that might happen during the week. It didn't. It just kept going. I mean, it still hasn't stalled out where I thought it will meet resistance, which is here. So for me, this descending on the DXY should be resistance. Hasn't tested it yet, but I think even where it is now is kind of, that's where support was. It's just a little bit higher, that where it started to trade sideways. You could see on a daily basis, it was sort of hitting this area here. I don't know, 103.8 roughly. So it could go a little higher, touch this, which should coincide with this sort of 103.8-ish zone, 103.7, and then go back down. Point is, it should go back down, right? We're bouncing, we're going to hit resistance and go back down. I don't think we're going to take this out, but you know what? It doesn't even matter because, and we're going to see this later, the dollar and yields going up doesn't really affect the miners. Gold a little bit, but I think the ultimate scenario for those invested in the miners, for those real bulls, is that gold and silver go down and the miners go up. Now, realistically, you're going to have gold and silver go up and the miners go up, but this is not really a big move. Just zoom out. This is just average back and forth. But if you have a little period where the dollar goes up, let's say it takes out this resistance, goes even higher. Wow, it's not going to take out this one here, and then it's going to go back down. Point is, if the dollar and yields go even higher than I expect, and the miners keep going up, great. Because once the dollar and yields go back down, the miners will go up even more. But anyway, the point is, we bounced today, this week, which is what I expected. Nice bounce. I think we're going to hit resistance pretty soon. This descending, and if we go even higher, more resistance, especially this major descending, which we didn't take out on this last run here, where it was very bullish. So we should turn around, go back down, and if we start to lose, close below this sort of zone 102 point, or definitely this low down here, but let's just try and take out this zone here, 102.6. We should go all the way back down to this ascending support. And I think if we're starting to test this ascending support, we're going to be in a very, very tight sort of pennant here. We're going to break one way. And I think the way we break is down because, well, because rate hikes should be off the table. And all of this was, you know, pricing in rate hikes taking place. So to summarize, we bounced this week. We're hitting a resistance zone. We should fall over. Let's look at yields. Yields. I'm going to start with a 30 and then 10, and then sort of end on the 2. The 5 and the 1 are not too relevant. We bounced also. That's what I said we do. We continued the whole week. We actually are at the resistance that I thought for the 30-year. We should go sideways. You can see already on Friday, we had a bit of a sideways day. It was the first red day of the week. So look at this touch here. This is beautiful technicals, by the way. The ascending, it touched it perfectly, right? I mean, there's no other reason that's really support. It's not a big round number, and there's no support here. It's the ascending, so that's very nice. We should hit, we should go sideways and go back down again. We should. Now, if we go higher, the fact that the miners, and we'll look at this later, are at the high of the week, I have no problem with yields going higher. And if we do, then maybe we stall out here, right? That's the last high, 4.5, big round number. And if we go higher, we've got this ascending resistance, which is a bit rare, but I think it makes sense. So we're at resistance. A little higher is more resistance, 4.5, and a little higher we'll get this resistance, but that'll make a new high in yield. So we could go actually higher, but I don't really mind because the miners are going up with it. So no problem. If we go back down again, then we hit the ascending support. Obviously, you know, go back down here, and then maybe we start to go lower and then hit something like this zone, probably 4% actually at that point. All right, 10-year, exactly where the 30-year is respectively. This is now no longer relevant. We should stall out here. This is clear resistance because of this area, obviously. If we go higher, then I would say, yeah, this. It'll also depend what the 30-year is doing, because if the 30-year hits resistance, the 10 will probably hit resistance quite soon at the same time. So let's see if the yields stall out. If they go higher, let's see how let's see how the miners react. I think gold and silver should meet a bit of resistance, but they could still go up with yields. because we're quite strong. We're relatively strong. We don't care too much about the dollar and yields. We're kind of in a breakout mode. So, but still, it has a bit of an impact. If we go back down again, then we'd have to consider this as support. So we'll see what happens next week. Let's check out the 2 year, just like the 10, all the way back to resistance. Look at this, beautiful. Touches this. This was real support, but okay, it had an extra day of a flush and it touched perfectly this secondary support. It's beautiful. Bounces all the way up. Now we are at resistance, close at high of day, by the way, these yields. So not the weakest end of the week. We should see resistance. It should go back down again. These lines are already there. That's where your support is. If we keep going, then yeah, that's quite a way up. And then you got the 2 year really testing near the old highs, 5%. 5%. That's a big psychological number. So what do you think the market's going to do? It's going to go down. I don't usually cover the markets anymore because I could tell people didn't really like it. But the KRE, watch out. This is really, I mean, all the markets you could see were going down. I mean, not the whole week, but look at this. Look at this, by the way. Look at this tight, crazy move. The whole move is crazy. We've known this for ages, but now we've closed outside. We should go back down now. We really should. Like maybe this gap fill here. Didn't really notice that before. Look at the NASDAQ. Nvidia has kind of lost its momentum. So I think, and you look at some key stocks, by the way. I mean, Nvidia, look at that. A close below 864 and you're kind of done. Apple's had a terrible time relative to others. Microsoft, these big flyers. Okay, that's still in the bullish pattern, but you can see it, right? You can see it. Look at this gap to fill, all these big ones. Anyway, I'm not going to spend time on the general markets, but the KRE, and that's relevant to gold and silver. If we have another banking crisis, which we will, especially with all these what are they called? Special bank term lending. I forgot all these acronyms, but that's running out. That's kind of nowish. So I think this is being front run. And yeah, the KRE, watch out once we start closing below this level, which could happen basically Monday, Tuesday, 45.5. Watch it close below that. Then we go down here. And then we're pretty much talking about testing the lows. This is the corona lows. So the lows during this entire bear market, and it is a bear market, or at least a recession, depression, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go test this, bounce off this, and then flush to new lows. This can happen very quickly. Look at this, right? How fast was that? That was in the same week that we went from all the way up here, 60, all the way down there. So the point is, the market, if yields keep going up, let's just tie it back to what I was looking at, especially the 2 year, very fragile. If this keeps going up, if yields keep going up, first of all, the miners, I don't think will suffer too much. And relatively speaking, the miners are outperforming the markets. But if the dollar or the yields specifically start going up again, markets will drop, banks will drop more than the markets. Gold and silver could actually enjoy that. And if they go down generally with the markets, they'll outperform. So this is not really irrelevant to us, and it's not necessarily bad news to us as it is to others. So watch yields, watch yields. If they top out and go back down, that'll help us definitely. So tails they lose, heads we win. Okay, gold. Now you can see we closed the low of day. I have no problem with this. I like a healthy retracement. I said 2150 is support. It kind of is. I mean, well, I don't know where 2155 is the same thing, but I think it really is 2150 to be honest. Once we close below, if we close below 2150, or especially this high here, what's this high here? 2146, right? Give me a few dollars difference. But if we start to close below 2150, especially 2145, we should see a accelerated retracement down here, which would be healthy and good. And I would love to see, and I've seen this so far, and I've said that this would happen. Silver and the miners have been outperforming gold, right? If I do gold slash silver, look, recently gold's gone down versus silver. That's great. That's what we want to see, right? Or for example, if we do the miners versus GLD, just don't want to take Barrick Gold because it's got the same ticker. Look, the miners have been outperforming gold the last 2 weeks. Beautiful, right? Especially recently. Well, actually, this move was probably stronger. But the point is, we are seeing the miners outperform gold. So gold going down, first of all, I don't think, and I said this last week, right? I think it would be good if you have gold down 1%, which should mean the miners are down 3, 4, 5%. And then the miners are also down 1%. Now, Friday, we had an even better day. And I'm going to get to silver soon. But look at this. Gold was down 0.2%. Nothing crazy, but still closed at low of day. Pretty bearish, right? Not very bearish, but just a bit. GDXJ is up. It's amazing. SILJ is up 1%. SILJ is up 1%, closing a higher day, looking like it wants to continue to its basically major resistance point. So SILJ looks like it's following a different underlying commodity. That's amazing. That's perfect. It's kind of unfortunate if gold does drop next week, if the dollar goes up, yields go up and gold drops, it's kind of unfortunate timing because this is ready to really go higher. But regardless, look at this. This is strong finally, and this is really a descending breakout squeeze. It's beautiful stuff, really. But that's kind of a vertical move. That's NVIDIA style. But this looks like it wants to keep going up. So I don't mind if gold goes down, yields go up, dollar goes up, and we sort of drift sideways whilst gold and silver drop. And silver, by the way, has outperformed gold too. That's wonderful because that means we're ready to take this out and really squeeze. This is just move number one. Zoom out. Where are we? We're going to go all the way up here and then maybe even higher. This is the beginning of a squeeze. I really believe that. So let's just look at gold again. I'm kind of going all over the place, but I hope you're following. Gold, not the most bearish stuff, but closes the week on the low of day. Let's look at the weekly. Can it go down to 2080? Yes, it can. And I think it would be healthy. And I think if the miners hold out, consolidate and just drift sideways, that would be the perfect realistic scenario. Silver, and this will explain why SILJ did so well. Silver had a good day, up 1.5%, closed above this 25 zone. It's not real resistance, but you could see it was just for 2 days. It's a big round number. That's why I left it. It's not really resistance because of this. The last move in this zone, 25 wasn't resistance, but before that it was. That's why I kind of left it there. If you remember, I said it was a small resistance, and it was. It lasted 2 days. Goodbye. We're closing above 25. If we go up, and maybe silver goes up regardless of gold, maybe gold goes down next week, starts making its move towards 2080. Whilst silver, and we know this can happen, and this happened on Friday, whilst silver just keeps going up sideways and tests 26, and 26 is the most important level. I know 27 is next, and we really need to close above that. We need to close above all of them, right? But 26 is something we haven't achieved really and held for several days for a long time. Like, I don't know, 2 years or something, whatever that is. That's huge. And this is coinciding with gold in a massive breakout. So for me, silver going up here and closing above 26 is really important. It could happen next week, even with gold dropping. Now let's just look at the miners, even though we already have. Look, GDXJ, this is not SILJ, right? But it's got a lot of silver miners in it. Close at high of day, close at high of kind of week, right? Almost at the high of week. This you can see resistance here is 37, big round number. We're ready to go higher. Yes, if the dollar yields go up and gold goes down, that won't be the best tailwind. But honestly, the miners could just go up anyway because of silver. But also, it's important to see what the market does. So, if the market's crashing, is that really affecting miners as it usually does? I don't know. But the point is, we are, relatively speaking, relative to the metals and the markets, we are extremely strong. And I love it. It's really good to see. So resistance 37, support, well, it's going to be down here. Let's say 35.5-ish. If we start to lose that, I don't know. We'll see, right? Depends about gold, silver. Do we do a gap fill? This would be such a buy the dip candidate. I'm buying the dip on this. And I'll get to that when I cover my portfolio update. SILJ, I'm not really sure. Resistance is pretty much, well, it should be here, but let's just be more short term. It's the resistance of the week, which is up here. 9.6 apparently. This is too close. Goodbye. Support, I honestly don't really know where support is. I'm not sure at all. Immediate support is the low of the week, which is kind of here. Not sure. Not sure. It depends on gold and silver. It probably depends on silver, that one. And finally, GDX, which is the one I should have started on. Okay, that was the weakest out of all of them, the seniors. But still, I think it finished unchanged. But remember, gold was down Silver was up. Honestly, that one didn't wasn't that great, but it doesn't really matter. It had a strong week, and it's had a couple of strong weeks. I think it's two or three now, right? Yeah, three. So resistance is here. At least we know where resistance is. It's really $30 actually. It's had a tough time the last 2 days closing above it, but let's just be a bit more optimistic. Let's say 30.50, right? The high of the week, also this sort of zone here. Let's close above 30.50. We go straight up here. No problem. Support, yeah, I'm gonna say 29.20 or something. Okay, I'll clear it up later. There you go. I think what my point is that silver's outperforming gold. The miners are outperforming the metals. Finally, that's what we wanted. That's not what has happened for a long time. We are also, as a sector, outperforming the markets, and the markets look like they're about to flush. And we are also doing this despite, at least this week, the dollar and yields going up. And that's all of that is perfect. And that's very bullish. So let's see if we can keep it up. All right, now I'm going to try and do my portfolio update. But not just my portfolio update, all the miners. So that's a big one. All right. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy the next one.